knows exactly what you're trying to do.
About
Yes.
computers. Yeah.
I'm happy it worked.
Morning, Gabby. Glad to see you after your holiday.
Yes, thank you. I'm back.
Hello, Herman. Good to see you again.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Nina's keyboard is fixed, is it?
It seems it's all right now. Yes, thanks to some help that Carmen gave her. Yes.
Very
All
good, very good.
Yes. Hello, Alan.
Hi, Sarah.
How are you doing?
Yeah, fine. I've lost my video camera, so I'm not on video, unfortunately. So my laptop doesn't have video, so I've got a separate camera. So you'll just get a still picture from now on. So how is Sydney? Is it Sydney? No, it's Manly.
Sydney. It's very hot today.
Yeah.
It's like
okay.
midsummer, but it's very hot.
Okay.
All good.
And are you staying there for a while?
We're here for a while. Yes, we're
Yeah.
not allowed to leave, so we're here. Yes.
And have you got any plans to come to the UK?
Definitely wouldn't be before next summer at the earliest.
Okay.
And Nina, Alan is going to meet my nephew this week to have some Dhamma discussion.
Oh, who is he going to meet? Which nephew?
My nephew in England.
Yeah, which nephew? What is his name?
Tom. He
yeah.
actually has posted on DSG many years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you could search Alan. He has posted on DSG. Tom,
I'll have a look. What does he do now?
He, long story, I'll tell you off list.
Okay. And how old is he?
He would be about 40 now.
About 40. Okay.
Yes. Got a young family. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we've had some Dhamma discussions, but he has his own ideas too.
Okay. I'll try and record it if it's possible, but I'll try and record what we say. But yeah, I look forward to it. It's very rare that I get the opportunity to meet people face to face in UK to chat. So it'll be interesting. Yeah.
I think, Ajahn, are you here now? Okay. Sawadika, Ajahn, are you here now?
สวัสดีค่ะ
Sawadika.
สวัสดีครับท่านอาจารย์
Hello, everyone. Nina, would you like to start with any topic or point or question or your daily life example? We can't hear you, Nina. Switch on your audio, Nina.
Good, yeah. I was very emotional because many things happened to me at the same time. Like the sound was out on the computer because I spilled the orange juice and the bed adjuster didn't work. It was lost. And my helper didn't come, everything. So I don't have much now. Daily life conditions, I know.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Nice to
Hi,
see you.
Betty.
Hello, Betty.
Hello. Oh, I missed it last week. We're going to the hospital quite often with my husband nowadays.
Hello, Betty. It's Sundara here.
Hi, Cindy. How are
Hello,
you?
everyone. Hello, Betty. How are you?
Oh,
Hi, Hung. Hi, everyone.
So,
Yes,
Welcome.
well, I think Nina was talking about the ups and downs in life and the difficulties, and that she was
Yes.
emotional. And then Betty was talking about her difficulties in life. So it is just daily
And
life and
I
what
couldn't
seems
think
so
of anything
important at the
else.
time.
I couldn't think of anything else. I just had my troubles, quite taken up.
Yes. And what about now?
I feel
All gone.
fine because I'm here with
Yes.
you, all of you, with Ajahn.
And all the troubles and the traumas and the emotional problems all gone completely.
All
And
gone,
it's like
yeah,
that with
yeah.
everything passes. But at
Yeah.
the time, it seems so special and desperate and difficult. But then all gone, just in the thinking. And if there's no thinking about it, then no problem anymore.
And what is the reality of being emotional, Nina?
Things went against me, like the juice that I spilled on my keyboard, and the bed adjuster didn't work. It was a sitting position, and the instrument was quite lost between the blankets, and I couldn't find it, so I didn't sleep well, didn't sleep much, and my helper didn't come in the household.
And the Jan Cup.
So I had to cut hard.
Tana Jan Cup. When people are going through difficulties, what would be your suggestion, Cup?
we can talk about anything now to understand what is there, just what is there. Otherwise, there is no understanding of what is there at all. It's only something and situation and story, that's all, and then gone. But what has gone and what is there before that? See? And this is the development of understanding the truth, because at moment of what is there seeing is so true. At moment of hearing is so true. But where are they now? See? And this is life, hidden, the truth of it from moment to moment, until begin to understand the nature of that it cannot be taken for anything because it's gone, and no thought, no considering about the truth of it at all. So how can it be known? But when we hear some words about it and begin to understanding it as it is the development of understanding the truth of what is there. Just like now, what is there now? See, if we don't talk about it, it's still someone and something all the time. But when we talk about it, it's time to be reminded about its truth. What is there? Only when it's seen. Only when it's seen. No more after that. And the next moment is not moment of seeing, but moment of thinking about that. Moment of conditioned realities, usually ignorance and attachment as asava. When we talk about asava, in Tipitaka it says, Arahata has eradicated all asava. See, not just the nivarana or the kilesa, but the asava, which is now unknown, to be known. But it's not selection, just try to understand it, but begin to see that there are so many things unknown all the time, from moment to moment. And the words of the teaching, when we use the word so very subtle, very profound, how can it be to understand its nature as it has risen and fallen away all the time, moment to moment, that's all. And this is endlessly. Should it be go on as this in life, different life, from life to life, unexpectedly. But I know that it is unexpected. We expect all the time for this and that. And what is that? See? And even how much we expect to be this or that, for this and that, it depends on conditions. So there are only different realities from day to day, from moment to moment. That's all. Is it tiring? Should it be ended? Or just go on? It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't mind to understand the truth of it. Just follow. Lopa and attachment or pleasant moment or unpleasant moments by nature, by conditions. Is that enough? Because it can be next life just right now. See? And what is there got from this life to develop or to condition the next moment, and we take it for next life? So the best moment in life is the moment of understanding the truth. Even it's so very, very subtle. But when we talk about it little by little, understanding that there is not enough understanding of what we have heard can condition moment of letting go, attachment and desire. Try to do anything but develop the understanding to be more confident of the truth from the first word, Dhamma and Anatta. Otherwise, no matter what we heard about, we thought that it's me or mine all the time. But actually, no me, no mine at all. That's why from having more understanding about the truth, it let go itself because it understands that actually it's not there anymore. But it's so very, very difficult to penetrate the truth as there is no picture, no television, no whatever is there around. Only that which is seen and being attached and unknown all the time is gone. See? Just in a day, how many moments of thinking about the truth? None at all, or some, depending on conditions. So right now we're talking about that which is now appearing, so there can be a little more understanding. And depending on whether there is aswa of I at moment of understanding or not, it's there to be known little by little, just to attend to the characteristic that Buddha taught about now and understand that it's there, but not as it is yet. But in fact, in truth, the truth cannot be changed at all. It's there as nothing, but appears as nimitta, dream about that which is not there anymore. The dream world from birth to death and then gone, always in the dream.
And Ajahn Cup, it seems it's easy to be forgetful of Dhamma.
Because it's the self who think like that. What about the understanding, little by little, developed? At moment of understanding, even just a little, it's there as condition. See, without that, like a small particle as dust, how can it get to be a mountain or a big thing? See, that's why there can be the understanding of what is meant by patience, khanti, and virya, and satya, to be true to the truth. Right now, it's just like that. But the panya from hearing develops, not just try or rush to directly experience it, but to know that whether it's true, and that will bring about more confidence of the truth, little by little. Very natural. That's why life is so natural, as usual, as normal. No change. Because what is there already. Who can change it? Who can manage it? Who can let go it? Impossible. It's the way it is already right now. Depending on understanding. Just touch, see what is there. Arms, legs, no. Table, chair, no, not at all. Only that which appears. Be true to the truth. Hardness is there. And there is thinking about it. Before it can be taken for a thing, it's there as something. Only something is there as object of attachment. If it's not just a thing or a nimitta, there cannot be attachment to it as something, but it's always something. And when there's doubt, one opens one's eyes. Oh, it's there. Because at moment of closes one's eyes, we don't know what is there. Just want here and there, moment to moment, all the time, of this and that object. And this is the meaning of what is meant by so very subtle asava.
I appreciate, Tanajan, what you say there about there is nobody there to forget about Dhamma.
And this is the development of understanding. Panya develops so firm, little by little, that life goes on when there's less thought about situation or me or mine or friends or relatives or what. It's there as just a moment by conditions. What is there has been heard is there. Condition, that moment of it's that, only that, as natural. And more than that, later on, it let go. Whatever is there by conditions, see? And this is the development of understanding from hearing, considering. Not I consider, but they are Dhamma, different Dhammas. That's why Buddha pointed out what are there at a moment, different ones. To begin to understand when time comes, not while there's no hearing, considering at all, it's impossible. So this moment of understanding develops to the moment when it can actually realizes the truth of that which is now appearing as it is, little by little, until it's clear and clear and clear. To realize the truth, the arising and falling away of that which is there. That which is there. See, no one can do anything, but that is there as it arises and falls away. Great patience. But the truth is the truth. It's there now. But what is there? Attachment to the idea of self, see, so much. To sanya, to feeling, to whatever is there. That's why it takes time to understand one reality at a time, by conditions, no selection, no matter what. It can be what we take for breath, see, by conditions, but no intention just to try to experience it at all, because that hinders the development of understanding, because the I is there, unknown. And this is the understanding of what Buddha said. Dhamma is so very subtle. Usually people forgot this. It seems like very easy to talk about citta and citasika and so on. But actually, what is there? We just learn about it. But the truth is there all the time. Until there is the moment of what we are listening to is just about that which is now appearing. To penetrate the truth that we have heard arising and falling away, never to arise again. Only a moment in samsara, that's all. So what one gets from this life, it's nonsense if it's not the understanding of the truth. Because just like a dream, keeping dreaming all the time from that which appears, and then story about that, and then gone. The stream of Avanka interrupted by Viticita, that's all, experiencing object through six doorway, one at a time.
I appreciate, Tanajan, what you said then, that what we get out of life will just be nonsense if there's no understanding developed.
And we can see this in any sutta. from Buddha himself, he pointed out so clear, but deeper, to see the danger which is unseen. So it conforms with any word in Tipitaka about seeing, hearing, like, dislike, and flooded oka, and so on. See, everything is so true. But if Buddha didn't point out, who knows? That it's just like what he said, just like the way it is. That's why learning to understand each reality by different aspects to develop more understanding of no one and no thing at all. It's so very tricky, Lopa, from stage to stage. Only Panya can understand where it is and what level it is. When it's strong, can anyone know it? When it's not strong, can anyone know it? All depends on understanding, not the object, because the object is just there very shortly and then gone. Panya can see that, can understand that. But not enough understanding, like now. We hear many voice, many sound, many story, but now none at all. Where were they? Can they come back? Never at all. And that's why cling to that no matter what is there as I, from life to life, no one, even the Buddha's life, from life to life, changes all the time, like anyone. By conditions, that's all. That's why just keep in mind, understanding that what we are here and now to understand what is there as it is, as no thing and no one. This is very true, so it should be very confident of the truth of it, so that it develops when there is hearing about the words about it, the truth about it, the understanding, the basic understanding is there as no one there. So we study with understanding of that object, of that word, as it doesn't mean anyone at all. It means the reality itself. For example, seeing right now, before it can appear as it is, there must be so many, many words on and on. See? And when it happens by conditions, it shows its anatthaness. But it depends on Panya to understand it as it's conditioned, or just take it for something instantly as usual. Just ignorance and right understanding, that's all. No one.
It always seems, Tanajan, that immediately there is seeing, it is something, and it seems almost impossible to imagine that when there is the experience of what is seen, then it is not something.
Only when Panya develops, it begins to not forget about what it's heard, about that which sees. See, before it can be that moment, it takes time, quite a lot. By conditions, the most important thing is by conditions, and thinking about how thick it is in samsara, eons and eons ago. So only few words about it can it show up as it is. But Panya penetrates little by little, that when one closes one's eyes, what is taken for things cannot be there anymore. It's gone instantly. So the truth is that what is seen is not that which is not seen. A reality that can be seen. Only a moment of seeing in life. A moment of seeing, a moment of seeing. A moment of hearing, a moment of thinking. all by conditions. No need to do anything, just understand. And that is the development of letting go.
Anajan, I think Kunina would like to ask you a question.
About visible object. I understood it must be very tiny because it pinches on the eye sense, and you use the example of an ant, and I found that very helpful. But then it is not possible to see a shape, because to see a shape without thinking, there must be many moments of tiny moments of visible object impinging on the eye sense. And then we take it for a whole. And usually we say, we think of shape and form and thinking. But even before thinking, they can be seeing, but must be very many moments if I'm not mistaken.
It's true. See, so consider at moment when one closes one's eyes. Where are those characteristics with shape and form? None at all. But as soon as one opens one's eyes, all other different things, different shape and form, see? It seems like instantly. But what we mean by instantly must be many, many moments of experiencing an object, uncountable. Couldn't imagine how fast it is. That's why it lures, it covers up the truth. Because no one had enlightened the truth of it so that that person can talk about it and show the truth of it. That's why any word that can condition right understanding, at moment of understanding, it knows from the person who has enlightened the truth. Otherwise, he cannot use that word to just show the truth of that which is now. Just close one's eyes, see. And this is the mind process, and there are other processes in between. But think about just mind process, only one doorway, mind door. Can it be as big with shape and form like when one opens one's eye? It is to get closer to the truth of just closes one's eyes and not just one doorway appear yet. For example, now, there is seeing many moments non-stop where there are other reality appearing too. So how very rapidly things are arising and falling away all the time, covered up the truth. And this is not experiencing through mind as it is, but as one can imagine. At moment of not seeing shape and form, closes one's eyes as the idle process, there's no shape and form. And that is not just actual mind process, that it covers up the other sense door when it's mind process. Even there must be other processes in between, but mind is there appearing. So the sense door must be so very tiny comparing to the processes of mind door. Understanding what is there as not seen at all. So how very short and little it is, very tiny experiences of the what which is seen as nothing. When it appears as many colors, it has to be many things. But when it does not appear as that, the truth appears through mind door, not through the sense door. Because the opposite is that the sense door experience many, many moments with mind door in between. But when mind door arises more and more and more, the sense door appears just as it is. As now, mind door process does not appear, but it's there. So at moment when mind door appears, the sense door is there as it is, so very short. And what is the truth?
I don't quite get this. It's very difficult. What you explain.
That's why we have to consider and listen again and again. For example, now close your eyes. Can there be hearing, smelling? See? So the mind does not appear as much as it really is, right? It's just the example of mind that it's mind when there's thinking, but no understanding of the difference between each reality through each doorway at all. That's why the sanya keeps thinking about it. Even mind arises more than other doorway, but it seems like I, so it does not appear as just as short from doorway to another doorway. And when it's mind more than sense the word is different, right? Because the sense process, how many moments and how many processes of mind when we take what is seen as something, comparing to the sense the idea process. Many minders as the sense So the truth is that how short it is for sense and understand have what is meant by mind because it's there, covers up the sense as usual. Only when it's there, so as it is, very short. Each one is so short, shorter than mind processes arising. So Dhamma is so very subtle, beyond expectation, beyond imagination, but understanding begins to have more confidence of the truth. It is not anything, it's not anyone. It is as it is by conditions. That's all, no more. Just very short in samsara, but ignorance take it for very, very permanent things and people. From life to life. And now it's the life which can be a moment of considering the truth to understand it little by little so that it can lead to the moment of understanding when it's there unexpectedly, anothness. Otherwise, it's I all the time. I looks at moment of memory, feeling, and so on. Even right now, just one at a time to be known. Otherwise, it's only thinking about what we have learned. Still I, see? That's why no one knows self. Seeing is just this moment and it's gone. It cannot understand, it cannot take what is seen as something. It just arises to see, beginning to understand the difference between the citta and the cetasika. Because even we talk about that which is the chief of experiencing, but what is that? Like, dislike, visible object, and sound. So it's the innermost. No thought about it. What is there from birth to death, one by one, a moment at a time. It's there. And if there cannot be the understanding of that which experience the citta, there cannot be the eradication of taking it for self. That's why it is one section of Mahasatipatthana, Cittanupassana Satipatthana, just pointed the difference between citta and other cetasika, Dhammanupassana Satipatthana or Vedana Nupassana Satipatthana. All the teachings are now about what is there, to learn to understand one by one, to have more confidence of the truth. It's not there anymore. The sound, the thinking, like or dislike, unknown, the way it is, until it reveals itself, shows up to only Panya, which can understand it as it is. as it's not there. See, letting go the other reality before the arising and appearing of one reality, and after that which has gone. Only one, no selection, no choice. It's there by conditions. So the first word, or dhammas, are anatta, can lead to the eradication of ignorance and all kinds of unwholesomeness, or dhamma which can condition result. No more conditions, no more birth. And it's now. Just keep on hearing, considering, that's all. Khanti Parami, Viriya Parami, Satya Parami, Adhidana Parami, Nekkhamma Parami. It has to be at moment of understanding. Otherwise, there cannot be the understanding of asava, because it's there. And understanding eradicate asava. That's why another word for arahata is khinasava, which means no anusaya at all. Very natural. See, all gone, the sound, thinking, everything unknown, until it appears little by little to panya, which is aware because of firm confidence of the truth, that only understanding that which is appearing can condition the letting go of the wrong understanding of it as permanent reality. Great patience, not just only in this life, as it has been accumulated eons and eons, uncountable eons. So it's impossible to be gone completely, absolutely, from just very short time. But learn to understand, and it's so natural when there is the firm confidence of no me, no I, no one. We listen to the truth of what is there with understanding more about it, as it is the way it is. So the way it is, depending on what moment is conditioned by what level of understanding. This is the subtle way to eradicate or to wear away or to have less clinging and wrong understanding of what is there now. The only way. Just to understand the truth, and Panya knows its way. No one can do anything. Ignorance is ignorance, right understanding is right understanding.
Ajahn, about what is there now, then it is also a sensor and mind door cannot be clear. Maybe it is clear at the first stage of vipassana, insight, knowledge, because now we have no idea, is the sense door or is the mind door? We confuse them all.
So this is the beginning of Panya, which can directly experience the truth clear, vipassana jnana. If there is no basic understanding about the truth of this moment, how can there be such moment when it's just like this? But the moment when it pops up, it's there. See, by conditions, more confidence of anatta, no one and no self. And the path is leading to understand no one and no self, because all are dhammas, conditioned to be only that at such moment and then gone, never to arise again. And this is the way to have less clinging until it appears as it is, stage by stage. But without such understanding like now, it's impossible to know that what can be known is so natural, it's there. No one has to do anything because it's there already by conditions. Confirm the understanding of no one had made it arise at all. It's there already, see, by conditions. Just one word, some word, little by little, it can condition more understanding and less clinging, letting go, even just little. If there is no moment of letting go at all, how can it let go the whole life? So it's not just wanting anything, letting go, clinging to life, because there must be life anyway, as long as there are conditions. But what about the understanding? When there's no understanding and more ignorance and clinging, what happened? Unpleasant vipaka. And cling to it, just want to have kusala vipaka or wholesome vipaka, clinging to no matter what is wholesome or unwholesome because of ignorance. Not understanding that even this moment, very short, but it needs many conditions for its arising, just to be like this only once. Not the same as the other, different ones by conditions. And now, when there is some understanding, it conditions a little more understanding by understanding this moment, little by little. That's why it's a so very, very subtle way to realize the truth of what is there now as it is, little by little. From no awareness at all to be moment of awareness by conditions. When it's there to condition firm confidence of its truth that it's there by conditions. No worth to,
Tanajan,
no worth to try.
Tanajan Cup, you were saying before that the mind door processes are much greater, many more than the sense door processes. But it seems to me that seeing especially is very strong and there are many more sense door processes. That's how it seems.
Because mind door process does not appear at all, right? Because there is seeing all the time. So who knows moment when mind door is there, in between, more than sense door process. That's why the world does not appear as it is to ignorance. But when there is the understanding of that which is seen cannot be picture or anything at all. It's only that which just impinges on the eye base, and the eye base is so very little. So in a very, very short moment, in split second, it's there as short before it can be anything. So the world does not appear as it is to ignorance, but it will appear for sure when Panya is there enough to understand it when it's there right now, just like now. But understanding is there, different from no understanding at all. And this is the point, the subtle point. When there's no understanding, one cannot do anything just to have understanding. But the understanding of the truth, little by little, develops by itself. No one there to try to have it more. Because depending on condition, how much wise attention to each word, so that it can bring about more understanding of the meaning of that word, Dhamma. See, just the word Dhamma, how much understanding is there as Dhamma. See, it seems very easily to follow the word Dhamma. It's a reality, it's real, it's conditioned, it arises and it falls away. But what about now? What Dhamma? One at a time, otherwise they are together. See, at moment of seeing, what is there? Feeling, Vedana, Sanya, and other Cetasikas performing their function unknowingly. They do not know each other either, but they are there by conditions, only by conditions. That's why understanding more about conditions, one can see that that is the way it is. Fire is hot or cold, see? Nobody can change it to be sweet or bitter, the way it is. That is the understanding of Dhamma as Dhamma. No one and nothing. It's there. No one can stop its rising. No one can say, don't arise any at all as this. Impossible, because it's there already, right now, already right now. Just to attend to the truth, it's there. No one make it arise at all. So it's there as it is. Seeing just sees, just see. Keep each word from the teachings of the Buddha, because it's so very, very true that seeing cannot do anything, and seeing doesn't any shape or form. It now sees, so that the idea of I see is not there. When it's the moment of seeing conditioned by the eye base and the object which impinges on it, and other thing there together, the meeting point, the birthplace, the originate reality is there. To be there together, only that and then gone. Together in split second too. Chitta and Cetasaka arising together, and Rupa lasts according to its lifespan, and then gone. Nothing is there. And who can expect there can be a moment of realizing this truth when there's more moment of letting go, not the moment of trying to know it, but to understand the truth. So at that very moment, no expectation. What is there can be object of right understanding because of right awareness with right understanding. Otherwise, there can never be that moment at all to be right awareness of that very object, awareness to the characteristic which is there as no thing and no one at all. Just hardness, see? No world, no sky, no mountain, no river, no house, only that, one at a time. Otherwise, can it be the object of understanding when there are many things together? It cannot be understanding all of them at once, but just one by one. And now we begin to understand the difference between each one as it is. To begin to understand that it's there as it is by conditions. No one, see, beginning to have confidence of the truth, to implant the understanding of the truth, to keep on, no matter in what life, to understand the truth. There's no me, no one at all. What is there is just what it is, fame or reputation or wealth or whatever, by conditions. But it does not belong to anyone. It's there to be seen, to be touched, to be heard, that's all. And when ignorance is there, it clings. It's just never enough. More and more. What for? At moment of death, see, in a dream, wake up, no, nothing there at all. New life, like this life. And what condition? Next life. It has to be this life. The accumulation from moment to moment of this life. That's why understanding patience, khanti, apamata, see, Buddha just reminded any time of anything, of any situation.
I
to understand the absolute truth. Please.
You said not trying to know it, but that's what we do all the time. We try to know.
That's why Panya sees the danger of what for. Just arise and then gone. See, never be there again, never to return. What for? For keep on being without any sense, anything, only that which has conditioned for its arising and then gone. So what for? For life to begin again and again after death.
And he said many times, letting go, letting go. So
No, understanding it. See,
yeah,
otherwise what can let go?
we don't understand quite letting go what it is.
That's why we should consider each word of the Buddha is so very subtle. How? And let go what?
Yeah.
Let go ignorance, let go sanya, let go feeling, or what? And who let go? See? Every word should be understood. The truth of it. Different characteristics, different realities performing their function. That's all.
It's the nature of panya, Nina, when it arises. At that moment, it lets go. So no one who can do anything or who can let go. But when panya develops, it is the gradual letting go of wrong understanding and ignorance, little by little, like the point about eye-door process and mind-door process. When there's a moment of understanding of seeing, just the reality of seeing, no thought about sense and mind-door processes. It is just that reality, no confusion with mind or process at all, because at that moment there is the letting go of the wrong understanding or the mixing up of different doorways, because it's just seeing which appears. And on the point that you asked about earlier about shape and forms, I think there can be some misunderstanding about the word shape. So what we conventionally think of shape and form as the object of thinking, like the shape of different people or different objects or different things, we talk about shape and form. And for this idea of shape and form, there must be countless moments of seeing and more countless moments of thinking in between to build up that story, that impression of shape and form. But when we talk about the mind-door process following after the eye-door process immediately, it is the nimitta, often translated as shape, nimitta and upyanjana, shape and form, instantly the impression of what has been seen, because what is experienced is not the actual visible object because it's already fallen away, but it is the nimitta of the visible object, which is translated often by the word shape. So it's different from the idea we have of shape of objects and something and someone, because for that shape or something to be the object, there must be countless moments of eye-door and mind-door processes.
Yes.
And the eye-door process, the seeing and the other citas are so short, but so many moments of thinking, not in words yet, but vitaka is there with each citta experiencing its object until eventually the shape or the form, as we think of it conventionally, is built up.
And also, Sarah, with reference to shape and form, I don't think it's just, we think in terms of what's seen and visible object, but I think it's reference to all the sense objects and sense door experiences.
Exactly. What is heard, what is tasted, exactly the same. That's why if there's the understanding of the reason we talk about seeing and visible object or the eye-door process is because if there is the understanding of seeing and what is seen and the distinction and the impression, it's exactly the same for any sense door. We could be talking about hearing and the shape and form or the nimitta of what is heard and the impression and the idea of something or a quality that is heard. It's just the same. And it's only by understanding the reality now that it becomes clearer that how much mind or process, how much thinking it is that we live in, and the seeing is so short.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, Ajahn explained so well that so many mind or processes, they don't show up in between. But when you speak about nimitta, I find that very difficult. Nimitta is through mind door, no, not through mind door.
So after the visible object or whatever sense object it is has fallen away, and the first mind or process experiences the same object, but it cannot be the sense object. So it's the nimitta. And then more mind or processes attending to the details of what has been experienced, the anupyanjana. So this is the nimitta and anupyanjana of what has been seen long before there's any idea of something or a shape or a kind of sound or whatever it is we're used to thinking about. And that's why it's so helpful, like in your example before about spilling the juice on the computer, or Betty's good example about taking her husband to hospital. And usually we think so much about these different stories, but what is there now? No, we forget all about seeing right now. And at a moment of understanding of seeing, there is no thinking about the different stories, no disturbance, no trouble at that moment.
Yeah, very good, yeah.
And Nina, earlier you were talking about trying to know. So we understand this trying is the self, and also I think we've accumulated the habit of knowing a particular way. We know anything, any knowledge, any line of study we think we know, and we know that knowing is just thinking. So we're in the habit of thinking about things and coming to a conclusion that we know this, we know that, and it's all just thinking. So even in Dhamma study, when we hear, it's much of the time it's just thinking, and we forget that that's not understanding, it's just thinking.
Thinking, yeah, right.
Yeah, but Sukhin, there's a big difference between a moment of understanding and just thinking. And so, I mean, you have to recognize what is the difference between a moment of understanding and a moment of thinking.
Right. I mean, it's a totally different function. One is understands what appears, the other is thinking. It can be with kusla or akusla, but it's not panya.
Mark or Herman or anyone else, do you have anything you would like to bring up? Because I'm sure it's some of what you've heard is quite difficult to follow.
Hello, Kunsara. Can I have a question?
Yes, Andy, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry for the very basic technical question again, but I'm asking about the sati. the question is, can sati take a concept as object? For example, when kusala sita arise at the moment of dana, for example, what is the object of the kusala sita of that moment? Because I think when understanding at the intellectual level arise, but not this is only normal kusala moments such as the moment of dana. So my thinking is the object then just only some concepts of generosity. So if in that case the concept of generosity must be the object of that sita, and this must be also aware by sati that arises at that moment. But can you verify? Can you give your comments? Thank you.
Right. So you have to consider what is sati and which chittas it can arise with. So when sati arises, it's mindful, it remembers to be wholesome, it guards against unwholesomeness. And sati arises with all kinds of kusala, not just with understanding of realities. So like you say, at moments of generosity or moments of kindness, sati has to be there, arising and guarding from unwholesomeness at that moment. And at that moment of generosity or kindness, what is the object? For example, being friendly or kind to others, or giving a gift, what is the object? Like you say, it's not a reality, it's a concept. Kindness to another person, the person is the concept of a person is the object, or the gift is the object. So sati is there, arising with a wholesome citta, otherwise it couldn't be wholesome. But at those moments of sati, it is a concept. Or even now, when considering realities like what is there now, what is the reality now? Is it seeing itself that's the object, or is it a concept of seeing? So even when talking about pariyatti understanding, intellectual understanding, discussing about realities, it's the concept of the reality that is the object. So sati has to be there with that understanding, but it's not the direct understanding of seeing or the direct understanding of kindness that appears at that moment of consideration. But the point of the considering and the discussing is for the purpose of the development of understanding with awareness until it gets closer and closer to directly understanding and being aware of the reality, the nimitta of the reality itself. Is that clear?
Yeah, I wrote myself a note at the start of this session, and it says, "Shut up." And I've stuck it above my camera. So I'm just going to shut up. But it's very interesting because all these sounds are happening. There's all this reactivity. There's all this, things are being said, and blah, 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 things come out, and oh, this, oh no, oh, I'm not making myself very clear, but there's all these sounds and there's all this reactivity. That's all there is. That's all there is. But I'm going to shut up now.
And apart from moments of seeing and hearing and thinking, is there anything else arising right now? So there can be thinking about the juice on the computer, or thinking about the snake, or thinking about the meaning of sati. But actually, apart from seeing, hearing, and other chittas and sensed or processes, and thinking, countless moments of thinking, that's life. In reality, no one there, no snake there, no thing there, as is always imagined.
No
So
Zoom meeting there?
The life is just now.
No Zoom meeting here, sorry.
If there's no thinking about Zoom meeting, is there any Zoom meeting? At a moment of
Well-
seeing, is there any Zoom meeting? At a moment of hearing, is there any Zoom meeting?
It's all thinking. It's just thinking, but still, we're having a Zoom meeting, aren't we?
Well, the realities that Sarah has just mentioned are constants, because whatever the situation, there is seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking, and their objects. So Zoom meeting is one situation, and going to bed is another situation, but there are just similar realities arising, but of course, two different, in different combinations, shall we say. And the visible object that's experienced by seeing consciousness and the sound that is experienced by the hearing consciousness is the same reality, but different in detail. So the sound of, say, a person speaking that we take for a person speaking, or the sound of a car in the distance, the moment of a hearing just experiences sound, and the interpretation of the nature of that sound is the thinking that follows. So that's why I said earlier, the absolute, if I can use this word, the absolute realities are the same regardless of the situation. And it's those absolute realities that the Buddha said are to be understood as they are.
See, that's very, very bad of you, John, because you're going to coax me out of my shut up little sign. You're going to coax me into talking. That's very naughty. I understand the Buddha to teach, to totally ignore consciousness. Ignore it. Don't go there. Don't obsess. Don't think. Whatever is happening is happening. You don't need to consider it. You don't need to try and explain it. Just, it is happening. Just let it go. Don't talk about it. Don't think about it. What is happening is not verbal. You don't need to put what's happening in words. And shut up, Herman.
Herman, you don't need to shut up, but what you're talking about are concepts. And what the teaching's asking you is to understand what the concepts actually are, that they're nothing except what figments in the mind, okay? So that's what the teachings are telling you to do, not to ignore or discount the realities, and understand the difference between the reality and the concept. That's what the teachings are asking you to do.
So we probably have a different understanding, and oh God, I'm annoyed with myself because it says shut up.
You don't have to shut up.
But I don't know the right way to pronounce it, but what is papanka?
Papancha.
Does the teaching promote papanka? Papanka? Well, how do you say it?
Papancha.
Papancha.
Yeah.
What everything that's happening is just papancha.
Only when it's thought as a concept of shape and form and stuff like that. Okay. When we hear a sound and we say, that's a bird song, or we hear a sound, that's a typewriter, that's the computer, that's something else, that's thunder and lightning. Okay, all that is concept. All right. All that is
because there were some birds there before.
What's
I
that?
could see them before. There were some birds in my tree over there.
So the sound.
And they were mating. And you know what's going to happen? There's going to be an egg. That's not papancha. It's going to happen.
But
that's
what
not
are
papancha.
What are the reality of eggs?
Well, that a new bird will come from it.
Yes, but what is the reality there? All right, new birds are going to come from the eggs, but what is the reality there of the eggs?
What's the reality?
What is the reality of the eggs?
What's the reality of Nina spilling juice on her keyboard?
That's right.
keyboard
What is the
won't-
reality? Okay, close your eyes and
It won't
touch the
function.
keyboard. Herman,
It won't function. It
Herman,
won't function.
okay, now you can shut up for a second. Close your eyes and touch your keyboard. What is there? Herman, close your eyes and touch your keyboard. What is there?
What is there is that I'm
That's
hearing
right.
your voice. I'm hearing your voice. That's what is there.
Okay, you're hearing my voice, right? You're hearing sound.
I'm hearing your voice.
Yeah, but when you interpret, when there's interpretation of the sound, you say, oh, she's saying this or that or the other thing. That's a concept, but the sound itself is the reality. Okay.
But I'm not interpreting. That there isn't somebody here interpreting. This is happening.
But your mind, that's what we call the mind door process. The mind door process is there's interpreting there.
You are interpreting.
Because of memory and feeling, we can interpret and our past experiences. We can interpret and say, ah, that's Betty talking and she's saying this, that, and the other thing.
See, but if you were to think that your husband isn't in hospital, you would be quite mistaken.
Of course, he's in. He's home right now. But
oh well, I'm glad to hear it.
But the point being is that even the husband is not real. Husband is a concept. You are a concept. I am a concept. Betty is a concept. Okay.
So to me, it sounds just like a use of the word real.
I think, can I just interpose here for a second?
Please.
When we talk about realities, we are referring to things that can be directly experienced, directly known, that have a characteristic that can be directly known. So that doesn't apply to egg, because egg can either be seen or tasted or touched. And at the moment of seeing, what is being experienced by the seeing consciousness is the visible data, not egg as such. And when hearing experiences sound. So at the moment of sound being experienced, the hearing doesn't know at that very instant whether it's a voice or it's a motor car. That comes later with the thinking about the sensed or experience. So we are trying to discriminate between what can be directly experienced without the interpolation of thinking and what can only be known by thinking about what's been experienced.
Yeah, and so the relevance of that to me for the Buddhist teaching is that the self cannot be experienced.
Exactly.
There is no self in anything.
But right, but what can be experienced? That's the point. And it's not what can't be experienced, it's what can be directly known because it can be directly experienced. And that is what the Buddha taught should be known and understood.
I don't understand the Buddha to be saying that you need to have a discursive understanding of things.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't teach that at all.
No. What kind of understanding does he talk about? Direct understanding.
The understanding that he teaches is not a positive one, it's a negative one. He teaches what isn't there.
Well, I beg to differ on that. I think he teaches what is there.
Yes,
and from that, there can be deduced what isn't there. So when realities are seen and understood as they truly are, then it can be known that there is no self. Because the self is just an idea, a fantasy. There's no actual basis for assuming the existence of a self, but we do.
There isn't. So
we agree on that. Good.
So, but even when we talk about language, the word and I again, I don't know how to speak the language, but the word is anatta or whatever, however it is said.
Yeah.
It is
That-
not,
that-
it is
Right.
not permanent.
And what is it that is not self, not permanent? What is it that is anatta?
Well, whatever is imagined is
Well, I think
imagined.
it's the
That is
things that
all.
can be directly experienced, that sometimes described as the five khandhas or the dhatus or the ayatanas, different ways of classifying, but the same underlying realities that are classified in different ways and have three characteristics: anicca, dukkha, anatta. These are characteristics of things that can be directly experienced. And the characteristics themselves can be directly known by understanding that is sufficiently developed.
What would be the point of understanding it?
Seeing things as they are, to get rid of the delusions of, for example, a self. Because the delusion we have that there exists a self underlying behind everything cannot be got rid of by discursive thinking, by conceptualizing, by repeating over and over that it's not existent. That doesn't help, because the idea that there is a self has been accumulated over many, many lifetimes strongly.
That's a story. That's a story.
It is a story. Yeah.
It is a story.
Yeah, because it can't be actually verified.
Can't be directly known.
No,
it can't be
at this
directly known.
moment for us, by us at this moment. But I am just repeating what I understand the Buddha's teaching to be, because the understanding that is developed can directly know certain things in due course that cannot be known at the present moment.
There's lots of things that can't be known at the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
So being obsessed about what appears is just so mistaken. It's so mistaken, because there is so much more that cannot be known, like conditionality. You cannot know it.
There's no point in trying to know things that aren't appearing, because the knowledge of things that don't appear can only be assumed knowledge. So the only thing that can be directly known is what appears. So that's the starting point.
So you can't know karma. You can't know it. It doesn't appear.
At the moment, no.
No, it doesn't. It's
So
a story.
one starts with what is appearing and can be known, such as the visible object and sound, thinking, attachment, aversion, like, dislike, feeling, pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling. These are all realities that are appearing at the present moment and can be directly known. So there's no point in trying to know what is or isn't the truth that is not appearing at the present moment.
Yeah. So we talk about moments, but you can't know moments. And we talk about little by little, but you can't know little by little. So please stop it.
It doesn't matter. We just use these terms to bring our attention to what can be directly known or understood. Obviously, only the present can be directly known and understood. The past is gone, the future not yet come. So only what is appearing at the present moment can be directly experienced and understood.
The Buddha always said, hey, Pasiko, come and check it out. See if it's not real. Find out for yourself whether it's real or not. What the teaching is teaching. Find out, check it out. And he gave a method how to check it out. And the method of checking it out is hearing the Dhamma, deeply thinking about the Dhamma, or whatever you call considering, thinking deeply about the Dhamma, and then understanding the idea that by conditions, there will be some panya or understanding arising whenever at some point.
I'm going to bring great shame upon myself, because what the Buddha said, I'm going to bring great shame upon myself, because what the Buddha actually said was, go sit under a tree and shut up.
Huh? No, he didn't say that.
Oh, sorry. We read different books.
I guess.
We read different.
Which book did you see that written in?
Oh,
Herman, what's the purpose of sitting under a tree and shutting up? To what end?
The tree is figurative. It can be anywhere. But this discursive thinking is just a trap. It's just a trap.
Well, I can agree with that, but then it can't be controlled. It's a conditioned happening. So he didn't say stop discursive thinking either.
Well, see, there is this view, and it's a pronounced view, that everything happens by conditions. That isn't known. That isn't known, but it's repeated as though it's known.
It's stated by the Buddha, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Well, I think that's the
So
sankhara. The word sankhara means conditioned reality, conditioned phenomenon.
If everything happens by conditions, then it will never end.
Oh yes, otherwise nobody, it has to at some point for some, because otherwise there could be no enlightenment. If it never ends, or some
That's
people.
another story. That's another story.
That's why we
Enlightenment
Well,
is
this
a
is
story.
why when understanding arises, you start to understand the teachings more, and you start to have more confidence in the teachings, and understanding what the teachings are teaching, and then you can start to say, well, there's none of this and there's none of that. That's why
There is no one.
It's a good idea to shut up, but we can ask questions.
There is no one. There is no one who can be enlightened.
Okay.
Enlightenment is a story.
Right, but what would you say about the present moment is not conditioned right now? Anything? What could you mention right now that is not conditioned?
If I had to say the words I am saying, then this will happen forever. If there is no opportunity for a disconnect, see, can you see? Disconnect. If there is no opportunity for a disconnect, then things will go on forever as they are.
What do you mean by a disconnect?
I think that this is the teaching on dependent origination, that there is a reason why things do go on forever, and there's also a way in which things can stop going on forever. Because as he said, as long as there's ignorance, then everything keeps going. But when ignorance ceases, and that means when understanding develops, then that is the beginning of the cessation of everything. So I think that's worth considering, because essentially he did teach that there is an end to life in samsara. Given the right conditions,
He did. So that is a possibility.
Also known as parinibbana.
But he got that from food poisoning.
By conditions.
Well,
the food poisoning, just like the sitting under a tree before enlightenment, it was there, but it wasn't one of the essential conditions for what followed. One has to look carefully and consider what he taught, not just the description of his existence, because that wasn't his teaching. He didn't say, if you sit under a tree, you'll become enlightened, or if you get food poisoning, you'll then reach parinibbana. So if you just look at the story of his life, you might draw those conclusions, but that'd be totally wrong conclusion, because it's not what he taught at all.
But he also didn't teach parinibbana, or nibbana arises by conditions. He didn't teach that.
He taught
Nibbana doesn't arise.
he taught the path to the ending of conditioned existence, and that is by the development of understanding, and the bringing ignorance to an end. That's how I understand. That's how I see it.
And it always has to begin now at this moment. That's why we talk so much about seeing or hearing now, because seeing is a reality, hearing is reality, exactly the same realities as in the Buddha's time, whereas Zoom meetings and computer keyboards and snakes are just different ideas, different concepts, but the realities are just the same. So the seeing is not in my control. It's not I who can see. There's no Herman or Sarah to see. Seeing arises. No one can stop it arising when there are conditions, and no one can make it last because there are conditions for the seeing to fall away instantly. So it's the understanding of reality which appears now that leads to the understanding of reality as anatta, not in anyone's control, and leads to the understanding of the seeing the reality as arising by conditions, because it's not arising by anyone's will. So without coming back every time to this moment and understanding what appears now, one, like you say, one will just be lost in discursive thinking and in fantasy world about parinibbana and this and that, but there will never be any understanding about the conditioned nature of realities. So that's why it has to begin now and develops little by little. Where you say what is little by little, it's just referring to how panya has to develop, and it cannot develop all at once. So it has to gradually develop, however you would like to express that. Let's see if Ajahn would like to add some comments too.
I just need to
Yes.
ask you one question in relation to that, Sarah. What you are saying is there is going to be another moment. You are saying things have to happen little by little. You are basically calling yourself into rebirth all the moment. I have to understand a little bit more. I'm going to be having to understand a little bit more. There is going to be another moment. So
no, but no I who is going to understand anything. It's just the nature of, just like when attachment arises, it is the nature of attachment when it arises that it accumulates, it becomes a little bit more habitual every time it arises, like the liking for tea, that liking for that particular taste becomes more habitual each time it arises. And in the same way, whenever panya arises, whenever there's a little understanding of seeing now or whatever appears, it becomes a little bit more habitual, it develops, but it's not I who understands or I who will understand in the future. Who knows when it will arise, but the understanding now accumulates by itself. Were you trying to speak, Ajahn? Sorry.
May I ask, is that just only one reality at a time? Or is that just only one reality in the world?
Herman, I think that's a question for you if you're still here.
So is there one reality arising at a time?
Different ones, or only just that one?
I don't understand the concept of time at all. I'm sorry.
Okay.
You cannot talk about moment and then talk about time. You can't. Sorry.
Okay. What is that in a moment? If we talk about a moment, what is there?
Change, anicca, anicca, whatever you call it.
But in order to know what change, see, not just change, what change?
I don't want to know.
But
And the less I know, the better. Sorry.
whether there is only one reality in the world or many realities,
Who cares?
to think about.
Who cares?
There are many or just one reality. To understand what is meant by reality, because it's so real, it has to be only that. Nobody can change it into other way or other reality at all. So just consider right now, is there only one reality in the world or many realities, not only one?
I don't think counting applies. I think what can be known about a moment.
So what is that when you use the term moment?
Let's talk about moment.
Moment of what?
What you can say about a moment is it is there.
Seeing is a moment of seeing, not at the moment. Hearing is a moment of hearing only, not at the moment, right?
Yeah, you don't know moments. That's right.
It's today, it's real, it's this moment, because there is hearing and there is seeing. And seeing cannot hear, hearing cannot see. But they are there who condition its arising, who can make it arise. It's there already. Without conditions for its arising to be just that, can it be there? For example, without the eye base, without the eye sense, without that which impinges on it, can they be seeing right now?
That's all stories. Eye base is a story.
No. Someone is blind, not sorry. Not that particular rupa, which can be the object that the visible object can impinge on it.
How can you talk about rupa?
It's not imagination.
How can you talk about rupa that isn't impinged?
I think that we better understand the word we use. For example, what is rupa? Is it real? Is it a reality? Or just the word rupa?
So you say rupa impinges. So
yes.
Is there an unimpinged rupa?
That's why we have to understand before all what is rupa or what is seeing. Otherwise, they are mixed. For example,
is there an unimpinged rupa?
Pardon?
Is there a rupa that is not impinged? Is there a rupa that is somewhere?
Just talk about firstly, what is rupa to understand what we use the word rupa for what is real, but they cannot experience, they cannot know anything at all. Like hardness, nobody can change it into sweetness. It's hard, but it cannot experience anything at all, no matter what is on it. It doesn't know at all. And what is meant by rupa, a reality, which is smell or sound or taste, they cannot experience anything. Are they real?
Real is just a word.
No. Even you use the word real, it's there, right? At moment of touching, there is hardness. At moment of smelling, it's the smell, which is there to be smelled. But we use the word to imply, to express what we are talking about. Through which doorway? It's so real at this moment. It's hard at moment of touching. And what is seen is seen, so real. Nobody can change it. It's not the voice, it's not the sound. But at moment when sound appears, it's not that which is seen, but that which is heard. It's real. No one can make it arise at all. It's there. my conditions. The deaf and the dumb and the blind cannot have such and such moment of seeing, hearing. Is that not true? The truth is the truth. Nobody can change. Otherwise, there wouldn't be the word blindness or so on, or deaf or whatever is there as it is. That's why we are talking about what are there in life from moment of birth to death. What are there? No idea at all. No understanding of what you said. That change, it changed. But we have to know what is it which changes to, not just changing without anything. It doesn't mean what is there to be known, just the word change. But now, the moment of seeing is not the moment of hearing. And from the enlightenment of the Buddha, he taught that there are so many moments of experiencing an object, which is not moment of seeing and actual hearing. That's why what can be known is only that which is now appearing. That which is seen for sure. That which is heard has been heard for sure. And where are they now? Gone. From the moment when they are not there. See? At moment of no sound heard, no sound. Because it's gone completely, never to return, never to arise again, only once in samsara. Everything is just like that. To understand what we mean or what Buddha taught as Dhammas, whatever is real, has its own characteristic. Nobody can change the nature of that reality. Hardness has to be just hardness. Sound has to be just sound. And that which can be seen only. It cannot be touched. It cannot be smelled at all. And the point is that, is this true in life that no one thought about it before? Just born and die, that's all. No understanding. And many, many events in life, very pleasant or unpleasant, all gone. What for? Without understanding of the truth that actually each moment is conditioned to be such only. Like seeing can see, only see. It cannot do anything at all. And hearing cannot see. It's conditioned just to experience sound and then gone. Nobody can keep it. It's not anywhere at all. It's completely, absolutely gone. But there is clinging with ignorance, taking it for something. That's why so many words of the teaching so very subtle. Even the word like nimitta, shape and form or image. See, from the very beginning until people can understand the meaning of it, until it can be object of jhana, the different realities conditioned, who knows? But the enlightened one just thought about everything that the other can understand as much, but not as him. This is the difference between the enlightened one and the one who just listens and carefully consider it to understand what is true and what is not true. What is life at moment when it's born? The first moment of life, birth, what is that? It's not stone, it's not flower, it's not tree, but it's that which experiences an object. And also there is the reality which arises together, dependent on each other, but that cannot experience. That's why we use the word Rupa. We use the word Dhamma for everything which is real. And Dhammas are so many, many different things, but they can classify into two categories. One is that it arises just to experience, and the other, it arises just not being able to experience. It cannot experience anything at all. And the Pali term, the Rupa, for that which cannot experience, no matter it's sound cannot hear anything, no matter it's taste cannot taste anything, that which cannot experience anything. The Buddha used the word Rupa Dhamma. They are all Dhamma, but classified into two categories. And that which has no shape and form at all. Imagine just arise, no shape, no form, no color, no smell, to experience what is there now. Is this the truth? It's there, it sees. Not me, not anyone at all. Only the reality which can experience that which impinge on the eye base and see only that. No idea about that at all. That's why the succession of the rapidity of the arising and falling away is so great that no one can understand it, even right now. That's why there is the word nimitta in Pali, because only seeing moment, one single moment, cannot be object of understanding. And Buddha taught about the process from the very beginning, what is there after death and on, after fast asleep on, after death on. See, as long as there are conditions for anything to arise, nobody can stop the arising of just seeing right now. It's there by conditions, because there are still the eye base, the rupa, which cannot experience, but it can condition moment of seeing, not by its intention, because it has no idea, it cannot experience anything, but its nature, Dhamma, Adhamma, which has such quality or characteristic which condition seeing. Without that, there can never be seeing at all, no matter who, no matter when at all. That's why we talk about the absolute truth, to understand the absolute truth, that actually what we take for I, for thing, very permanent, is not as it is. It is moment when it's conditioned to arise, just to arise, and then after that it fall away. Because the condition just it to arise, that's all. So after it has arisen, it fall away instantly. Who knows? Otherwise, the body and everything cannot be changed at all, from moment to moment, secretly, unknowingly, even right now, because seeing is not hearing and it's not thinking, because hearing depends on the ear base, but thinking does not depend on eyes, ears, and nose and tongue. That's why Buddha taught about the first process in life, of each life and so on. That's why not just to believe, but to consider the conditions for each reality which is now appearing. That's why as much as we can understand, each word should be studied carefully. One single moment of seeing, thinking about that, cannot be known through any doorway at all. Actually, when it's the reality which cannot experience, which experiences just arise to experience, it can be known through mind door. It doesn't need touching, impinging on this or that at all. But it's there by conditions, just to experience the same object as that which is seen and have some idea, marks and remember what we use for the word image or shape and form, or 6 or 5 doorways, see, and 6 doorways too. That's why even just one word, nimitta, it can apply to any kind of truth. For example, does a taste have nimitta? Or we use the simple word, shape and form, when there is the understand what the word shape and form means. Not as we think, like big or small, and what we take for shape, but the shape of that reality. If there is no shape and form, we use very loose word for it, just to understand the difference between one and the other. That's why without that quality, which we can use the word shape, the quality, and the other quality, different shape, quality. So it's there as it can be known as it's different. It's not there anymore, just only one at a time, because the reality which arises to experience can arise and experience only one object at a time. And it is this moment. And Buddha taught about realities that no one knows, and take it for things and people in one's life, the whole life, all lives, see, with no understanding, ignorance. So we can talk about what Buddha taught about what is there now in the teachings. He taught about seeing, hearing, smelling, 6 ways only, no matter in what realm, in what world. There must be that which experiences and that which cannot experience. Is it true in daily life, each moment in life, even right now? That which cannot experience is there, and that which experience through different doorways is there too, but they are conditioned to be different ones. Seeing cannot be hearing, hearing cannot be thinking, and so on. Are we not talking about the truth of what is there and what we call in a moment of seeing what is there, a moment of hearing what is there, and where are they when they do not appear? Is it true? Can it be known? Or if no one thinks that it shouldn't be that way, what about his thought? So there is seeing from moment to moment, unknown, until hearing the words about it. It cannot be taken for anyone, or me, or mine, or his, or hers, because it's completely gone, never to arise again in samsara, only once in samsara, no matter what is now appearing, is gone. Unknowingly, secretly. Can you stop the way it is? Can there be only seeing without hearing and thinking at all, in between? One at a time. Just talk about the truth of what is there now, to begin to understand each word clearer. Even if it does not appear as shape of cloth or shirt or whatever, but the way it is there experience cannot be just single one. So it's an image of seeing, the image of hearing, before it can be whose voice and what is there, shoes or bed or paper, see. So there are many degrees of understanding reality, even ignorance and attachment at this moment. Who knows that it's there already, as long as it looks like permanent, never gone at all.
I can appreciate how wonderful John is teaching about chitta consciousness, that which experiences, and the difference between chitta consciousness and rupa, that which can experience. So definitely appreciation and good hearing from you, Herman.
And after understanding, one can understand who's the Buddha, who's the enlightened one. See? Otherwise, we just heard the word, the Buddha, but who's he?
No one sees, no one understands.
But
that's all.
In Tipitaka, it says, anyone who sees Dhamma, see me, right?
Well,
From
that's language.
understanding Dhamma, what is there now, as he had
Sound.
enlightened and taught.
Sound is sound. No one hears it.
So what is there? Only one.
Whatever appears. Whatever appears.
Yeah, right. But it's not clear yet what appears now.
Whatever appears.
Clear.
It doesn't need to have a label stuck to it.
No, we don't have to name it at all, but it's there already.
It's
Baby
gone.
sees. Baby does not know that it is seeing.
It's gone.
Baby hears, but it does not know that it's hearing. It's me.
No, it's not.
Instantly after experiencing sound or sight. Unknowingly, and until Buddha pointed out that is the asava, see, the anusaya, and then the asava, and then kilesa, and then nivarana, and sanyoshana, and so on, by different degrees, which is conditioned to be different. And this is life, no matter when. Today, tomorrow, 6 hours thinking, and then gone. So what are there? Nothing left, only conditioned reality from moment to moment, non-stop, by conditions. As long as there are still conditions for the arising of what is there, it has to arise. No one can stop its arising, because conditions has conditioned it to be such. That's why everything will be ended only when there's no conditions for its arising. And that is the meaning of Nibbana.
And I
As
think
long as there are still no understanding of conditions is there, until it's known, until it sees, it's seen, its danger, what for? Just to arise unknown and then fall away. And something arises and is known with attachment and then fall away. And this is life? Or it's not like this? Is it not true? Is it this moment? The teachings of the Buddha open up that which is closed. What are they? Nothing in the clutch of the hand. So we are talking about what is there at any moment. It's there to be known of its truth, not by our own idea or thinking about words and terms, but the truth is that the characteristic which is there, as that which is seen among all others realities, no matter what, only reality that can be seen is that which is seen now, no matter we use visible object, and at the moment when it appears, even it's not shape and form, but it cannot be known just a single one, so it is a nimitta, the image of that, until it's conditioned more and more moment to be something like the leaf, the flower, the shoes, the hand, or everything. And that is also nimitta. And then the details is the anupyanjana of all realities, no matter its sound. That's why we have different musical instruments, say piano and so on, different ones, because of the shape and form of the sound, which is taken for something so pleasant, or even what is that? Just the idea, not speak out. What's that? It means there is the idea of something of such already, even it's not known as what it is. And this is life. No one can disclose the truth, only the Buddha. That's why what is made by the enlightened one, who enlightened the truth of what is there, which is hidden, years and years, uncountable years. But it's so true. What is there is not there anymore. What appears is not as it is. It appears as so very permanent, but actually no more. It's gone. And Buddha taught by way of different processes in between the stream of Bhavanga. Life continuum. So it's so natural, very, very natural. Just a moment of hearing, understanding, and then other moment conditioned by ignorance and craving and so on, and then again understanding the worth, the value of understanding, conditioned moment of listening again, careful, more wisely, until there can be understanding a little bit, get closer to what is there now and here, so very close. Any moment it's there. Depends on understanding or no understanding of that which appears at all. So better study the teachings of the Buddha just one word at a time to understand clear about each word. Roughly and then clear, little by little. For now, see, what is there? It's real. What is the reality? The nature of that which is real. No thought about it experiences, it sees, but it's I see, not understanding conditions for its arising, because no one can make it arise. That's right, because of there is no one. Each reality arises by its proper conditions, to be such only, and then gone. So condition it to arise, then after that it's gone. Is it not this moment? See, a little bit of understanding what is there as not self. Because the teachings of the Buddha just lead to the understanding of the nature of what is there as no one and nothing, anatta and sunyata. No more, all gone, non-self, uncontrollable. And from considering on and on, we can understand a little better of each word of the Buddha. Clear, and that moment it conditioned the development of panya to let go. See, it's not I or anyone who can try to let go, but the moment of understanding is the moment, the very wise, very subtle function of panya to let go little by little, wrong understanding and the idea of self. That's why each word should be studied very carefully. Even the word nimitta and anupayanjana for all the ways. How many days? See, altogether, not more than 6. No matter in what situation, what happenings, just be the arising and falling away, interrupted the flux, the stream of bhavanka, that's all. No manager, no one can do anything, only by conditions. From birth to death, and then birth again and death again. Different life, no one.
I was just going to add that the idea of self, of I can do, I can see, I can hear, I think, is so deeply rooted. That's why it's not enough for the Buddha just to say, well, be aware of what appears or understand at this moment, without hearing and considering a lot about the details of different realities. It's impossible for the understanding to develop, to eradicate that idea of self or something. And that's why he taught for so long, for 45 years, and in such detail about the khandhas, the dhatus, the ayatanas, and so on, because just hearing about the khandhas or just hearing about different elements is not enough. So just to say understand what appears. It's not adequate. We have to know what appears and what the reality is and what the distinction is between the namas and rupas and so on, because there's so much ignorance and so much wrong understanding.
I have such appreciation for Ajahn's teaching. Herman brought up anicca, the impermanence and things arising so quickly and passing away. There is no refuge in them. Beautiful. Thank you, Ajahn.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much, Ajahn and Umodana, and to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Herman, for your lively contributions, and everyone else.
Nice talking to you, Herman.
Good.
Thanks,
John.
Nita, and everyone.